Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are really getting into the weeds on one of the most incredible but also logistically tricky places in the U.S. We're talking about Milner Pass and the Continental Divide, right in the heart of Rocky Mountain National Park.
And this is really a deep dive into planning. I mean, Milner Pass isn't just a pretty overlook. It's the point that basically makes or breaks your entire trip. It's where the nature, the recreation, and, the history all come together.
Right. And our mission here is to pull out the key strategic info you absolutely need. Because the numbers are they're staggering. Over 350 miles of trails in RMP. You just can't show up and wing it. The planning has to be almost surgical. Especially because the park is, well, it's literally cut in half by geography.
That's it. That is the number one thing you have to understand. RMNP is basically two different parks, and they're connected by this very fragile, very seasonal road. If you don't get the east side versus west side thing, your whole plan can fall apart on day one.
Okay, let's unpack that split. Because the Continental Divide, it's not just a line on a map here. It shapes the whole experience. So the east side, that's where most people enter, right?
Yeah, that's the gateway. You're coming in from Estes Park, Colorado, through either the Beaver Meadows or Fall River entrances. And that side is, well, it's steeper, more dramatic. It's where you find all those famous high alpine lakes.
And the west side is a whole other story, a different entry point.
Totally different. That's the Grand Lake entrance, near the town of Grand Lake. The west side is more about the Kawanish Valley. It's generally a bit quieter, more open meadows, and you get more of the historical sites over there.
So if you have two distinct parks, what's the link? All the sources kept pointing to one road, Trail Ridge Road.
Trail Ridge Road is everything. It's the highest paved road in any national park, and it crosses the divide. But, and this is the big but, it's also a massive barrier for half the year. The park closes it every winter, no exceptions.
And this is where the planning gets real for you, the visitor. If that road is closed, which it is from, October to May, you cannot just drive from one side of the park to the other.
Nope, it completely changes the game. What's a beautiful 45-minute drive in the summer becomes a multi-hour detour. You have to drive all the way around the park. So checking that road status isn't just a good idea. It literally decides if you need to book a hotel in Estes Park and Grand Lake.
Wow. Okay, so beyond the road, the park does offer some help. There are 5 visitor centers.
And you should use them. They are your source for real-time information. Weather up there can change in 10 minutes. Plus, that's where you get the Junior Ranger books if you've got kids with you.
And you really have to match your plan to the side you're on. The east side, that's all about the Bear Lake Road corridor.
That's the main artery. It takes to Marine Park, Sprague Lake, and of course the main event, Bear Lake. Most first-timers will spend almost all their time right there.
But if you go to the west side, you get a totally different feel, the Kawanish Valley.
Yeah, you get amazing cross-country skiing there in the winter. And you have the Holtzworth Historic Site, which gives you this incredible look at early ranching life from the 1900s.
So it's like high-altitude drama on the east and a mix of nature and history on the west.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, let's get into the trails. Those 350 miles. I mean, that number is so big, it's almost useless. It covers everything from a paved walk to a serious mountaineering expedition.
It is overwhelming if you don't have a strategy. So let's filter it. On the east side, coming from Bear Lake or Glacier Gorge trailheads, the theme is usually water. Lakes, waterfalls.
Right. You've got your easy wins, the little loops around Bear Lake or Sprague Lake. Perfect for getting used to the altitude.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take much to get into something really substantial.
Exactly. You can do the hike to Alberta Falls, which is super popular, pretty easy round trip. But from that same area, you can also head up to Lawn Lake. And that's a serious 12-mile round trip with a lot of climbing. The difficulty ramps up very quickly.
And this is where we found a really critical, timely piece of information. A strategic alert that could totally derail a fall trip. There's a temporary trail closure happening for a bridge replacement.
Oh, this is so important. Yeah, you can't just rely on a map you downloaded 6 months ago. So which trails does it affect?
It hits 2 of the biggest names, Dream Lake and Emerald Lake. If you're planning a trip for late September or early October, you need to know this specific trail section is going to be closed on certain dates.
And the key word there is rotational. The Park Service website has the exact dates, but the takeaway from it is that during those windows, 2 of the most iconic lakes are just off limits. You have to have a plan B.
And that's the insight, right? Don't assume anything is open year-round. But the good news is they do offer alternatives. The trail to Lehigh, for example, which you can get to from Nymph Lake, that's supposed to stay open during the closures.
That's the kind of adaptability you need. Okay, so let's contrast that with the West Side trails. They often feel more like you're exploring, stepping back into history.
Yeah, you still get the short, family-friendly stuff like Adams Falls, super easy.
Mm.
But the West Side is where you can really find that sense of, the old frontier.
For sure. I mean, you can hike to a ghost town. Lulu City is a solid 7.4-mile round trip from the Colorado River trailhead. Or you can push on to Granite Falls, which is over 10 miles. These hikes are more about distance and, like you said, that historical feel, less about the packed-in alpine lakes of the east side.
So 350 miles,
Yeah.
two completely different sides, and closures you have to track. Which brings us to planning tools.
Mm.
How are people supposed to manage all this? It seems like it's all gone digital.
Well, the tools have gotten really precise. We're not just talking about looking at a map on your phone. We're seeing things like route converters, the ability to print out custom maps, even beta features where you can build your own route from scratch. That's the level of detail you need for a park this complex.
But the tools are just one part of it. The sources we looked at really hammered home the ethical side of visiting a place like RMNP. You can't just download a map and go. There's a responsibility that comes with it.
Absolutely. The environmental commitment is, it's just not optional. You see it with their connections to groups like 1% for the planet and the constant messaging about leave no trace principles. The goal isn't just to see the place, it's to ensure your visit has as close to zero impact as possible.
So when you put all this information together, what does it really mean for you, the person who's actually trying to plan a trip?
It means planning is survival. I mean, strategic survival. It's not about checking off a list of hikes. It's about thinking through every single variable. Did you check Trowridge Road's status this morning? Do you know the exact dates of that bridge closure? Are you prepared for a sudden snowstorm in September? Answering those questions is what turns a potentially miserable trip into an incredible one.
That brings us to the end of this deep dive. We've really hit three big takeaways. First, Milner Pass is the hinge. It dictates everything. Second, RMNP is two parks in one, east and west, and that seasonal Trail Ridge Road closure is the barrier between them. And third, you have to use modern planning tools, but pair them with a serious commitment to leave no trace.
That balance